Hey my friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Wenkai. I'm a 4th year psychology student slash Chinese international student from University of Alberta. So today I would love to share with you guys the 5 things that I wish I knew before I go study abroad. I know most of you guys already got your offer and prepared to go study abroad. You still have 2 or 3 months to go. Those are the 5 things that I wish I'm able to prepare before I go study abroad, or just simply the mindset that I should have. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that I wish I knew is spending more time on the words, the sentences, or simply the definition that constantly appears in academic settings. Relate to my personal experience during my first year and second years, I spent too much time on the words, the phrases I should have known. Just simply word like valuable, correlation, etc. Like those kind of very basic words, but I didn't know them back then. Takeaway here is you could buy a second-hand textbook or just borrowing someone's notes, lecture slides to just try your best to remember as much as possible, because those are the words that gonna constantly appear in the future. It's gonna save you so much time if you start to prepare earlier. Okay, the second point that I wish I knew is actually the way of studying. So more specifically, how to study more efficiently in the language you're gonna use in the future. In my case, using English to study new concept or just new things. No matter you were good at studying or not, doing high school or junior high, it's important to make some adjustment, make some changes to your study method, because just keep in mind that using your second and third language to study a new concept or things are a totally different story compared to using your first language. If you already study abroad, you might have the same feelings. You're spending a lot more time or just simply remember something, or doing the class, having time to understand, or reading your textbook, you having understand to process those kind of new information as well. That's why I would recommend you to actually spend some time to figure out what would be the better and more efficient way to study. Back to my first year, really to my personal experience, I spent so much, not actually my first year. It took me 2 years to figure out what would be the better way to study. When I look in back, I feel like if I just simply go hardcore for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, just simply figure out what would be the better way of studying and experiences, it's gonna save me so much time. So just keep in mind that, try your best to figure out the better way of studying. If you want to compete with native speakers, you gotta figure out some better way to study. Because when you use your second or third language to study things, as long as you are not at the native speaker level, like you are always slower, like 5% slower, 10% slower compared to native speaker all around in, across all academic settings. For example, listen to lectures, taking notes, looking the question during the exam, and writing the questions during the exam. So it is important for you to figure out a better and more efficient way to study, so you're able to compete with other native speakers when you study abroad. Okay, so the third thing that I wish I knew is actually finding the balance between hanging out with your friends who from your own culture versus other cultures. I know it's human nature for, all of us prefer to hang out with our own group versus other groups. However, when we talk about studying abroad, I think one very important element is that we're able to experience different culture, some sort of culture interactions, and that is extremely important. And I would say that is one of the most important things that why we decided to study abroad. So if you're spending thousands and thousands of money just to go study abroad, live in a different country, but you never experience different culture, you never talk to local or making a strong connection with them, I think you're losing something here. After the third point, it also leads to the 4 points that I want to talk about. The fourth thing that I wish I knew is actually don't try to fitting in. It's like a human nature, also a human nature for us to, fit in when we go to a new environment. However, we should also notice that we are at the era that different people have different interests, they love different kind of things, and we have so many different kind of social group and social categories. So if you can find one specific groups or the groups that you actually like, don't try to fitting in. If you're not a person that like go to party and drinking all the time, like me, don't try to act like you were those kind of cool guy and then just go to party constantly even you don't like it. You will find friends eventually that having the same interests, do the things that you actually like to do. Just be yourself. Last but not least, I also want to talk about culture, the things that I wish I knew and wish I have done. Do your research as much as you can, as best as you can. Well, but at the same time, if you make a mistake in the future when you actually studying abroad, don't get frustrated. We can't learn every single part of culture and norms when we just simply look online. I make a lot of mistakes during my first year. Even now, because of the culture differences or just the things that I didn't notice. One classic example is when I order food in restaurant. In China, we love to just say like, hey yo, one fried rice. We never say please or can I have. I love double cheeseburgers, so like just talk to the guy every single time. And one day he was just like, hey friends, I think you should say can I have. The guy who making the cheeseburger told me that I should say can I have, and I didn't know that at all. It is not on the textbook, nobody have talked about that. So yeah, you might make those kind of stupid mistakes every now and then, but it's part of the process. So at the end, so you just have a much more better understanding in terms of culture. Okay, so let me just wrap things up a little bit. So we talk about the language in academic settings, and later on we also talk about the way of studying, and then I talk about finding the balance between hanging out with friends that from your own cultures versus other culture. And then later on, the fourth point, I also talk about fitting in. You don't necessarily need to, don't try to just, fitting in and doing things that you don't like. And last but not least, I also talk about culture. Do your research, but don't get frustrated if you make mistakes. Hey my friends, so that's it for today's video, and thank you so much for watching. I very hope you were able to find a couple 1 or 2 points that you're gonna apply to real life situation. You're gonna do it constantly. For example, the way of studying. You're gonna start to just think about it and start to prepare, or simply the culture stuff. You do more research before you go, and I very hope able to help you to having a better experience in terms of studying abroad. So yeah, if you like this video, please smash the like button, or if you want to see more contents like studying abroad, studying psychology in English, please consider to subscribe. I will post contents every single week. So until next time, bye bye. One thing I don't like about this whole set is the fact that I don't have a chair and my back hurts. And every single time when I want to finish a video, my back hurts so much after this record. But it's worth it, and I really hope you enjoy it. Until next time, bye.